How terrifying was Xiao Yan after reaching the level of a 5-star Dou Saint? He could wipe out an entire branch of the Hall of Souls by himself, and a saint like Hun Qing could be smashed into pulp with a single palm. After fully refining the Purifying Demonic Lotus Flame, Xiao Yan's strength surged straight to the level of a 5-star Dou Saint. Once he left the demon flame space, he and Xun'er happened upon a group of Hall of Souls experts besieging Captain Liu and his men from the Tianfu Alliance. Xiao Yan made his move at once. With a single stomp, countless Hall of Souls fighters died on the spot. Captain Liu and the others were still reeling in shock, a chill rising from the depths of their hearts. They had not even seen how the other party had attacked. Those Hall of Souls cultivators, whose strength far surpassed their own, were all severed head from body in the blink of an eye. Captain Liu recovered the fastest. Suppressing his fear, he hurriedly bowed respectfully toward the two figures in midair, thanked them, and reported the designation of the Outer Alliance squad he belonged to. Hearing the words Outer Alliance, Xiao Yan was slightly surprised. Seemed that over the past 2 years, the Tianfu Alliance had developed far better than he had expected. He then asked what major events had taken place in Central Plains since the demon flame space had closed. Captain Liu did not dare delay. He quickly organized his thoughts and told Xiao Yan everything he knew in full detail. As he spoke, he secretly studied the young man before him, feeling that the face seemed oddly familiar. When he mentioned that the Xun'er tribe, just like the spirit tribe before it, had vanished completely and without warning, both Xiao Yan and Xun'er's expressions changed drastically. Captain Liu quickly added that in the following year, nothing similar had happened again. It was probably connected to the ancient 3 clans forming an alliance. Xiao Yan's face turned grave. In a low voice, he sighed that in only 2 short years, so many earth-shaking events had taken place in Central Plains. Seeing him sink into thought, Captain Liu carefully reminded him that there was a branch hall of the Hall of Souls not far from there. A protector had just died and reinforcements would arrive soon. He deliberately emphasized that the branch hall was guarded by a Dou Saint from the Hun clan, a man who had already killed many alliance experts over the past 2 years. Xiao Yan raised a brow. After confirming that the man was only a 1-star Dou Saint, he actually told Captain Liu to lead the way. He wanted to personally visit that branch hall. Captain Liu and his companions were all stunned. In their eyes, that branch hall was a forbidden place they normally avoided at all costs. Who would voluntarily walk into it? Before they could even react, Xiao Yan had already placed a hand on Captain Liu's shoulder. Face rippled, and in the next instant the 3 of them vanished, leaving the remaining squad members staring at one another with miserable expressions, convinced that the lives they had just barely saved were now lost again. Yet to everyone's shock, only 10 minutes later, the 3 of them returned completely unharmed. Captain Liu seemed dazed, as though his soul had yet to catch up with his body. Only when his teammates rushed over to question him did he finally come back to himself. In a dry voice, he told them that from this day on, there would no longer be any branch hall of the Hall of Souls on the Demon Flame Plains, nor would there be any famed Hun Qing saint. That man had been slapped into a heap of flesh by the young figure before them. Everyone was dumbstruck. They could hardly believe their ears. Xiao Yan only smiled, then turned and strode away through the empty air. Before leaving, he told Captain Liu and his men to find the regional supervisor and be promoted directly to Earth-grade members of the Tianfu Inner Alliance. The group was even more stunned. At best, they had thought this mission might earn them a promotion to Emperor-grade status. Captain Liu dropped to his knees and loudly asked for the senior's name. From afar, carried on the wind, came Xiao Yan's laughing reply. They only needed to report his name. Only then did everyone realize that this young senior, who had casually erased a Hall of Souls branch hall, was none other than the legendary Young Alliance chief himself. Afterward, Xun'er bid Xiao Yan farewell. The disappearance of the Xun'er tribe had dealt a severe blow to the Gu clan, and she had to return at once. Xiao Yan felt a faint ache in his heart. He knew that with Xun'er gone for 2 years at his side, the Gu clan must already be in turmoil. No matter the reason, she had to go back, especially with such a major incident having occurred. Inwardly, he silently vowed that he would one day go to the Gu clan and formally ask for her hand in marriage. He wanted Xun'er to wait for him. Very soon, Xiao Yan put away those emotions. During the journey back, he had already grasped the situation between Tianfu and the Hall of Souls. The two sides had reached the point of irreconcilable enmity, and the intensity of their clashes had far exceeded his expectations. He understood clearly that the Hall of Souls was backed by the Hun clan, and the Hun clan would never stand by and watch the Tianfu Alliance destroy it. And the blood debt from the year the Hall of Souls massacred the Xiao clan had also come due. As coldness spread from his body, his figure flashed and vanished on the spot, heading straight for the headquarters of the Tianfu Alliance. The Alliance headquarters, Starfall Pavilion, had expanded several times over compared with 2 years ago. It was packed with experts, and its defenses were as solid as an iron wall. As the alliance had grown, the major factions that had once formed the coalition had gradually lost their independent voices, and signs of true integration had begun to appear. Their disciples all called themselves people of Tianfu now. Everyone understood that only by standing together could they resist the Hall of Souls. That moment, the atmosphere inside the main hall was unbearably heavy. Feng Xianzuan was reporting the battle situation to Yao Lao, who sat guarded within. He stated that in the past month alone they had clashed with the Hall of Souls 43 times. Although they had destroyed one branch hall, the alliance had also suffered serious losses. Then his tone shifted, and he delivered a piece of news that made everyone's heart sink. The Hun clan was about to send true top-tier experts to help the Hall of Souls eradicate the Tianfu Alliance. This time, the one coming was Hun Qing, a 6-star Dou Saint who had once even taken part in the siege against Shaoxian. The hall erupted as though a bomb had exploded in its center. A 6-star Dou Saint was a terrifying existence capable of overturning the entire balance of power for the current Tianfu Alliance. In one corner, Xiao Chen's space itself seemed to quiver and distort faintly when he heard the name Hun Qing. Clearly, his emotions were violently stirred. The first elder of the Pill Tower analyzed the situation grimly. The Hun Qing made a move, only the Pill Tower ancestor could oppose him. But if that happened, then the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls and the old demon Hun Mo could each tie down Tianfu's other peak experts. Once the Alliance's strongest forces were completely locked in place, the remaining Hall of Souls army could launch a massive assault. When that time came, the Alliance would inevitably be plunged into a catastrophic disaster. Silence descended over the hall. Yao Lao suggested that he join forces with the little fairy doctor and Qing Lin to hold off the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls, but everyone knew that was unrealistic. Even if they could barely contain him, the Alliance's Dou Saint forces would be scattered too thinly to stop the Hall of Souls offensive. Everyone was filled with anxiety, yet no one could think of a solution. A disaster of annihilation already seemed to hang over the Alliance. Just as the first elder of the Pill Tower gritted his teeth and prepared to propose a final desperate measure, a clear laugh suddenly came from the entrance to the hall. "Leave the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls to me." At once, Xiao Chen in the corner opened his eyes. On his stern old face appeared a smile of deep relief. Everyone in the hall looked up in confusion toward the doorway. Sunlight spilled in, and a lean figure slowly walked inside. The moment Feng Xianzuan, old ancestor Huiyun, and the others saw that silhouette, their bodies trembled. Their faces filled with disbelief as they cried out Xiao Yan's name. The newly promoted upper echelon of the Alliance might have had only a vague memory of Xiao Yan's appearance, but all of them understood his position within the Alliance. If Yao Lao was the formal alliance chief, then Xiao Yan was the spiritual leader of all Tianfu. Yao Lao shot to his feet. The instant he saw Xiao Yan walking in, his eyes became wet. During the 2 years Xiao Yan had vanished, Yao Lao had worried for him every single day. This disciple, whom he loved like a son, was the person he cared about most in his life. Xiao Yan's figure blurred, and he appeared directly before Yao Lao. Looking at the excited old man in front of him, he felt deep guilt in his heart and softly said, "Teacher, I've returned." Yao Lao wiped at his tears. His withered hand patted Xiao Yan's shoulder again and again as he repeated over and over, "It's good that you're back." Old ancestor Huiyun burst into laughter and said he had always known the boy was hard to kill, and that the heart hanging in his chest could finally settle. The first elder of the Pill Tower also smiled and said that Xiao Yan had returned at exactly the right time. With the two of them joining forces, they could at least contain the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls. But the moment he finished speaking, Xiao Chen said calmly that with Xiao Yan's current strength, dealing with the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls alone would no longer be a problem. The entire hall froze, and then every gaze turned toward Xiao Yan in shock. Yao Lao reacted the fastest. In a trembling voice, he blurted out, "You refined the Purifying Demonic Lotus Flame?" Xiao Yan smiled slightly and answered with a single modest phrase, "By luck." Old ancestor Huiyun and the others all sucked in a sharp breath, their faces filled with disbelief. They had all entered the demon flame space and knew better than anyone how terrifying the Purifying Demonic Lotus Flame was. Even the Pill Tower ancestor had been unable to subdue it. Never had they imagined that Xiao Yan had not only survived, but had actually succeeded in refining the most supreme heavenly flame in existence. For thousands of years, countless experts had tried to tame the Purifying Demonic Lotus Flame, and every one of them had failed. Once again, Xiao Yan had created a miracle. When Yao Lao came back to himself, his aged face was overflowing with uncontrollable joy. He threw back his head and laughed loudly, saying "good" again and again. With the Purifying Demonic Lotus Flame in his possession, Xiao Yan absolutely had the strength to confront the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls head-on. His return had erased more than half of the Alliance's looming catastrophe in a single stroke. The senior members in the hall all stepped forward to congratulate him, and the burden in their hearts was finally lifted. With Xiao Yan here, they no longer needed to fear the Hall of Souls offensive. That moment, the little fairy doctor approached with a smile. 2 years had made her seem gentler and more graceful than before. At a glance, Xiao Yan could tell that she had already broken through to become a 1-star Dou Saint. Smiling, he praised her astonishing progress. She returned a faint smile and said it was all thanks to the blood essence of the demon saint that Xiao Yan had given her before. When Xiao Yan heard that Kai Lin had already remained in the 9 Nether Yellow Spring for almost 3 years, his expression changed slightly. He had once gone to the bottom of the Yellow Spring himself and found nothing unusual there, so Kai Lin must have entered an even deeper region. The 9 Nether Yellow Spring connected to the depths of the earth, and its chill was so extreme that even he had not dared venture too far within. But Kai Lin, as a 7-colored heaven-swallowing python, might instead be experiencing a great opportunity in such a place. Suppressing the worry in his heart, Xiao Yan decided to deal with the Hall of Souls first and then go to the 9 Nether Deep Earth Python tribe to find her. The news of Xiao Yan's return to the Tianfu Alliance spread across the Alliance's territory within a single day, and everyone erupted with excitement. During the last 2 years, although the Alliance had fought the Hall of Souls back and forth, the news of Xiao Yan's disappearance had caused morale to plummet. In the hearts of all the disciples, Xiao Yan was the man who could turn the tide in desperate circumstances, the true spiritual pillar of the Alliance. The moment he returned, all the unease and dejection that had weighed on them vanished like smoke. The entire Alliance's fighting spirit was instantly reignited. On the Hall of Souls side, however, there was an eerie silence. They did not even respond to the fact that Xiao Yan had casually destroyed one of their branch halls. Ordinary Alliance members believed that Xiao Yan's reputation alone had intimidated the Hall of Souls, and their morale rose even further. But Yao Lao and the others at the top knew perfectly well that this was only the calm before the storm. The Hall of Souls was surely gathering its experts in secret, preparing a fatal strike. Yao Lao immediately ordered the Alliance's defense level raised to the highest state and dispatched countless scouts to watch every movement in Central Plains. All of Central Plains sensed that something was wrong. Countless eyes turned toward the Tianfu Alliance and the Hall of Souls. Everyone understood that the final showdown between these two great forces was likely about to begin. In this oppressive atmosphere, Xiao Yan managed to enjoy a few rare, warm days. He stayed indoors and devoted himself to accompanying his daughter, Xiao. In the 2 years they had been apart, she had grown a great deal, shedding the childishness of her early years. Her features carried the beauty of Kai Lin, and she was already a budding beauty. Her cultivation talent was even more astonishing. Her soul power was innately strong, and with the bloodline of the 7-colored heaven-swallowing python flowing in her body, her cultivation speed far surpassed that of ordinary people. What surprised Xiao Yan even more was that the stern and withdrawn ancestor Xiao Chen had shown Xiao extraordinary affection. During the 2 years Xiao Yan had been gone, Xiao Chen had taught her everything he knew. Looking at his daughter, Xiao Yan could not help mocking himself inwardly. He had suffered so much in his own years of cultivation, yet all those accomplishments seemed to come effortlessly to Xiao. During those few days Xiao Yan also met Qinglin and Venerable Tianfu. Qinglin had already broken through to become a 1-star Dou Saint. Her status within the alliance was now extremely high, though she did not concern herself much with alliance affairs. Venerable Tianfu had not only recovered the peak strength he possessed during his lifetime, but with Yao Lao's medicinal support, he had even reached the pinnacle of Dou Zun. Though he was still 1 step away from half-saint, he was already content. Xiao Yan had always remembered the kindness Venerable Tianfu had shown him in the past, and he silently resolved that one day he would find a way to help him break through to half-saint as well. But that peaceful life lasted only 7 days. Then a blood-colored challenge letter carrying a heavy stench of blood shattered all calm. It had been sent by the Hall of Souls, and its target was none other than Xiao Yan. Inside the stone pavilion, Xiao Yan looked at the crimson battle challenge lying on the table, his expression calm. Beside him, Xiao Chen said coolly that the Hall of Souls clearly intended to defeat Xiao Yan and completely shatter the morale of the Tianfu Alliance. Xiao Yan only smiled faintly and flicked his finger. The blood-red challenge letter opened by itself, and in midair appeared a line of sharp scarlet words. Xiao Yan of Tianfu. 3 days from now, at the peak of Fallen Mountain, we settle life and death in a single battle. The Fallen Mountain range lay at the border between the spheres of influence of the Hall of Souls and the Tianfu Alliance. Over the years, the two sides had fought countless fierce battles there. Its name came from an ancient legend claiming that many Dou Saints had once perished there. Although innumerable treasure seekers had searched the mountains and found no trace of any remains, the place had never lost its fame. Now that it had been chosen as the battlefield for the decisive clash between the two great powers, its renown soared even higher. When the news spread, the shock it caused far exceeded what either side had expected. In only 3 days, the once quiet Fallen Mountain range was packed to the brim with experts from all over Central Plains. Everyone wanted to witness with their own eyes which side would seize supremacy over Central Plains, the old overlord, the Hall of Souls, or the rising power, the Tianfu Alliance. When the day of the battle arrived, the entire atmosphere of the mountain range boiled over. Countless experts spread their Dou Qi wings and flew toward the peak at the heart of the range. Even many ancient monsters who had hidden themselves away for years appeared to watch. Yet even so, no one dared set foot upon Fallen Peak itself. Everyone remained thousands of feet away, quietly waiting for the arrival of the two sides. When the sun climbed high into the sky, the space above Fallen Peak suddenly twisted violently. A pitch-black spatial tunnel slowly took shape, and from within it surged endless dark, frigid mist, mixed with the shrill cries of ghosts. The surrounding temperature plummeted at once, and everyone immediately focused their attention. People of the Hall of Souls had arrived. As the black fog churned, 7 figures slowly emerged. Every single one of them radiated the vast and majestic aura of a Dou Saint. At their head stood the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls and the old demon Hun. Behind them followed the Vice Hall Master and 4 Hun clan experts who had never before shown themselves. 7 Dou Saints all at once. Such a display made the grand elders of every sect present turn grim. For the first time, they truly felt the terrifying depth of the Hall of Souls foundation. The Hall Master of the Hall of Souls swept his gaze calmly over the crowd, then looked toward a distant mountain peak. His voice boomed like thunder through the entire range, calling for the Tianfu Alliance to show themselves. The instant his words fell, a laugh rang out in response. On the opposite side of Fallen Peak, space twisted as well and 10 figures tore through the air. With their appearance, the frigidine energy filling heaven and earth instantly dispersed and blazing warmth returned. Everyone present drew in a cold breath. No one had expected that the Tianfu Alliance would actually field 10 Dou Saints. Besides Yao Lao and the other core experts, there were old ancestor Huiyun, the Hua brothers, and even a newly joined 1-star Dou Saint from the past 2 years. Without anyone quite realizing it, the strength of the Tianfu Alliance had already swelled to a level comparable to that of the ancient clans. This left every spectator deeply shaken. The Hall Master of the Hall of Souls was not overly alarmed. His gaze fell directly on Xiao Yan at the very front, and he admitted that he had never imagined Xiao Yan would survive the Purifying Demonic Lotus Flame. Looking at him with icy eyes, he said that for the fallen Xiao clan to produce someone like Xiao Yan was indeed rare, but the Hun clan had once caused one Xiao Xian to fall, and it could make a second Xiao Xian fall as well. In today's battle, the Tianfu Alliance would have only one chance. If they failed, they would be consigned to utter ruin. Then, in a chilling voice, he asked, "Xiao Yan, do you dare accept?" A terrifying soul shock spread out like a tidal wave, crashing toward Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan endured it head-on. Meeting the Hall Master's gaze, he spoke in a calm yet utterly resolute voice. "Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support really helps the channel grow and means a lot to me."